a perfect being would be revealing all of these aspects all the time, especially if God's outside of time. I don't know how a God who's outside of time is revealing different things at different times. That just seems like
that's different claims.
Imagine something that's perfect.
Sure.
And complete.
Sure.
Okay, and it's trying to communicate with creatures who are anything but that.
Sure.
Well, they're going to get it wrong.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, now wait a sec. Do you blame that on the interpreters or the phenomena itself?
So
like, for example, are you perfect in attending to your conscience?
Hold on. At the point in time when God is literally the one who created us, he could have created us in a way where we would always be receptive to these principles, where we don't have to go across like a learning curve.
Okay, so he could. He could, but why do you assume he should? Right?
Yes.
Well, he did create us in the garden. The only thing is he gave us free will to be able to be in that relationship or not, and we chose to be stupid and to rebel. Therefore, then we need this process in order for sanctification to occur.
What this guy wants, right? What this guy wants, whether he realizes it or not, is he wants God to create biological robots.
Yes.
That always perfectly follow God's will.
Exactly. Which is not desirable, by the way.
Robot.
That is not desirable. Like, that is, and again, as a simple thing that all of you in the comments, anyone watching can remember, if you're trying to critique a perfect being, make sure you actually have like some sort of understanding of what perfection entails essentially, and make sure you have an understanding of the internal beliefs of Christians to make a critique, right? Because you can't, as an imperfect being, saying, well, this is what a perfect being would do, if you don't have some sort of standard. As an atheist, you don't have a standard. In the scripture, we can have an understanding of God's nature, so then we could have something like that. But that's just number one. Number two, again, now he's changing the topic completely and talking about, oh, well, if God's outside of time, then how could he even, give us different commands at different times, right? So I think he sees the flags going up. So he's probably just rapid firing random like atheist Reddit talking points. But okay, again, if you say God is outside of time, you have to kind of qualify that, because there's some people who say that God is, outside of time in the sense that he's like, timeless, right? There's no beginning or endings. But then there's other Christians would say that God is not, burdened by time, right? So he is omnitemporal. He is time full. And so God is, in the past, and he's in the present, and he's in the future. He's in all those places, and he's relationally present with us at all times. So it kind of depends on your specific understanding. This guy's kind of assuming there's only one view of God in time throughout all Christian history, and that's just not the case. And then exactly as you guys were saying, right? God did make us receptive to his commands, as per Adam and Eve, who were receptive to the command, but he also made us free, because freedom is a good that's essential to God, and he made us in his image. Therefore, freedom is a good that is potentially essential to us. I hope that's good enough for any.
I'm actually one that would say that God is outside of linear time, being that he's not like locked out. I'm not Muslim who's saying God is locked out of creation, but saying that he is not limited to our perception of linear time.
And that's so
okay. So let's go ahead and dive in, see if he's got. I think you're right. He's just rushing, trying to put out as much as possible before his time is over, because I think this is it for him. This is the only time he gets to come up and talk to Jordan Peterson. And that really puts a lot of, I guess, a different spin on some of these guys, because, man, definitely one of the first guys, that's the best you got. You got an opportunity to talk to Jordan Peterson, have a conversation. That's the best you got. Let's see.
Not maintain free will.
Thousands of years in the future, maybe we'll do it. Oh, also, if you believe in an all-knowing God, then free will is impossible. Because
wait a sec. Let's not go to that yet.
You threw free will into the mix.
Well, that was the answer to your question.
Yeah, and
you said, why wouldn't God? Well, it's 1,000 years of deep thinking philosophers would disagree with you.
Yeah, and 1,000 years of, or at least like the last 50 years of philosophers would disagree with you. These analytic philosophers, people like Graham Oppie make arguments about the incompatibility of omniscience and free will, that if God created this world, if he chose this world instead of that world, then he makes it causally inevitable every single action that you were going to make. If he made a world where we were just electrons in love, then none of this would have happened. But by making us in this world, knowing exactly what's going to happen in the future, it makes all of those events inevitable, which means that they're all causally determined, which means that we have no free will if you believe in an all-good God or an all-knowing God that made everything.
Well,
is this on topic?
Have it your way.
I don't see it on topic.
No. To answer your question, no, because again, this isn't the actual topic. He has definitely gone off topic. And yes, I watched David S have a little heart attack there when he's like, well, free will, and he's like, yes, like defeats your whole argument right there. You just answered it yourself.
Yes, exactly. And the worst part is he's an atheist, guys. My second book's not out yet, but it deals with this. Like, I'll say it really quick. Atheism, per the understanding of Michael Roost and most naturalist philosophers who are at least honest with themselves, and you see this with Alex O'Connor on YouTube, so check him out on this topic. They recognize in an atheistic naturalistic framework, you don't have free will. So no, there's nothing, that claim actually is really projection by the atheist right here. Free will is not something that works in a naturalistic, mechanical framework like naturalists or atheists have. But if you have a soul that is not bound to material limits and material causality, then you would be able to actually have real reasoning, real rational thought, and real free will choices, which is something absent from the atheist framework. And also, there's way more ways to take omniscience than just, eternal omniscience. You have dynamic omniscience like Idol Killer on YouTube, and you could have, like maybe the open theistic options as well. Whatever. That's nonsense. I'm sorry. That's just that's so trash. That's such a trash take.